This is 2-on-2 entry passing. And in 2-on-2 entry passing, the goal is to help players with the most difficult aspect of the game. At least I think it's the most difficult aspect as a point guard and a player. Trying to pass against pressure, and specifically the hardest pass in basketball, to dribble up court and make an entry pass to a wing player who is being guarded while you're being guarded. It was my biggest challenge in high school, my biggest challenge in college basketball, my biggest challenge playing at the next level. And this simple drill will help your players, both the passer and the receiver, to work on their timing, to know when to go backdoor, to know how much space they have available to complete the pass. If you don't spend time working on this as a coach with your team, what you'll find is that when you step into moments of pressure, your players aren't ready to handle defenses that extend way past the three-point line. But when you do this repeatedly, and this is why I think it could be something that you do either every day or every other day to help your players, to prepare them to be successful against pesky defenses and against defensive teams that really pick up in the full court or pick up in the half court. And if you don't do this, your players won't be prepared for bigger, longer, pressure-packed defenses. So let's go ahead and take a look at this right now. Here's how 2-on-2 entry passing works. We have two players up near half court, and we divide the court in half so we can do it on both sides of the court at the same time. Katie has the basketball, and Christina is going to be defending her. Christina, her job is going to be to force Katie towards the side. She doesn't want to get beaten middle in this game. Eddie is going to start out right low. Eddie, you can come on down, that's perfect. And Damien's going to be guarding Eddie. And his job is to attempt to deny the entry pass. Katie will have the ball on the dribble, and she's going to attempt to make the pass to Eddie. She has one of two passes. If she can pass it to Eddie anywhere between where he's starting out at and up as high as where she is up near half court, if she can make the entry pass and pass it to Eddie, and Eddie can catch it, having turned and peeked towards the rim and be powerful, if he can do that and Katie can complete the pass, they get a point. And then they switch and they go over again. If Damien does a great job of denying Eddie, deflecting the pass, or stopping him, Eddie has one opportunity to try and go backdoor. And if he can go backdoor to the basket and catch it and make the layup, he'll get another point. So Damien's job is to try and stop the entry pass and to try and stop the backdoor pass. Now, the game is to 5 points. So there's a highly competitive drill to help raise the competitive level and intensity of your defense because they're playing to win. And if they can get a stop, if Damien can get a deflection, or if he can stop the pop out and stop the backdoor, that stops the competition and they switch, and now Damien and Christina will be on offense attempting to get points themselves. You only get points on offense in this game. There's a couple other things you need to know in this game. If Katie can beat Christina middle and get to the paint and come to a jump stop, they get a point. So Christina's job is to not get beaten middle. She's got to force Katie towards the help side defender. But Damien's not really worried about being a help side defender because he doesn't want to give up a point by letting Eddie catch the ball and square up towards the basket. If Katie can attack the basket and get to the paint and score a layup, they'll get a point. So Christina has to contain Katie and not let her go to the middle and get to the paint to a jump stop, or let her come down towards the outside and get a layup, or they'll give up a point. So we're going to have them give it a try. This is their first time going through it. We'll see how they do, and we'll let them play it out, and we'll walk through all the different pieces so you know how to run this with your teams. This is 2-on-2 entry passing. And Katie, you're going to start on the dribble. Eddie can't move until you start on the dribble. But let's back up 2 more steps to half court. Christina, you can deflect the pass, and that'll put you on offense. Just don't get beaten middle. Here we go. They got a point. That's one. Go back up top. Switch, Damien. You're up top now. Switch. Oh, sorry. Eddie, you're on offense now. Katie is here. They've got 1 point. So your job, remember, Damien, is to contain, to put pressure without getting beaten to the rim. Christina, your job is to not let Katie get the ball. Here we go. And that's a point. Take it again. Here we go. Katie, you just have a straight burst. No drifting, just a straight burst. Here we go. And, oh, nice backdoor. And we're going to say the ball went past the split line. So the ball can never pass the split line on the dribble or on the pass. Can't pass here, so switch, offense and defense. 2-0, and here we go. And that's a trip. You have one pop out and one cut backdoor. Now here's what happens, coaches. And so we're gonna put a limitation. What Damien did was he stepped into Christina's pop out space. And so the teaching on this is to let your players know you either wanna stay there and make the pass to get the offense started, or you wanna beat your man and get to the basket. You don't wanna end up in middle ground. So we'll switch offense and defense. It's still 1-1. Here we go. There you go, and let's stop. So good attack to the basket. So we've got a college player playing against a high school player, so he's giving up a lane. Come on, back up top again. So your first job, Damien, is to keep him from getting to the basket. So let me take your spot for a second. So my job here is to contain. I've got to keep him in front of me. He can't go this side, and if I can channel him that way, that's what I want to do. So I'm taking up space here, and I want to dribble, and now if I can get him right there, they're dead, because now he's just come into her pop-out zone. So what we typically do, coaches, is we say to a player that you must stay in from half court over to the lane line extended, because if he crosses that lane line extended, he's now stepping in to the cutter or to the player popping out. So you've got a really narrow lane if you're going to go to the basket. Ready to go? Let's take it from the top. There you go. And stay on offense. They're up to 3. Now, Eddie, because you have an advantage being a college player and playing against a younger player, we're going to say just stay and be in contain mode. So Damien, or let him contain you. Because when they're playing against players of the same level, they're going to contain. Or you can just narrow it all together and say the maximum number of times you can beat your man to the basket in this drill to get 5 points is 1 time. 1 time is the maximum. So Eddie's used his 1 time, and now he has to make the pass. So Eddie, try and stay in that box. We often will limit players so they can't even leave this box, except the 1 time out of 5 that they're gonna go to the basket. They have to stay in this box and be pressured and control their player and make the pass, or hit the player back door. You choose your limitations, coaches. That's the one. If we see players penetrating too easily or drifting into the space, we'll limit them to that box and make the pass. So we're gonna limit all the players from now on to that box, and let's go. Here we go. And let's take a look at the learnings. So what we had was what you'll often see in games. A player that didn't pop out high enough to go backdoor. If we try and throw a backdoor pass from half court all the way to the rim, that's gonna get stolen 75% of the time. So what do you want your players to learn from this? To come even higher. So let's take it again, or switch offense and defense. Go as high as you need to get that first entry pass. And that's a point. It's now 3-1, switch offense and defense. Wait until the ball's on the dribble. Christina, start right at the corner. And here we go. And now it's 3-2, so switch again if you got to try and deny. Now, even while you're in this box, if you can beat your player middle will allow you to beat your player middle. So you've got to stay in the box unless you can go middle without passing this split line right here. Back down in the corner, what's our score? 3-2-2 for black. Here we go. And turnover. Why the turnover? Damien never made it past the wing. If you're playing against pressure defense, your players are going to need to come high. And when a defense takes you high, take them higher to create even more space. If you pop out to here, then you can catch it backdoor at the three-point line. These turnovers with high-level players lets you know why our players need to practice this. It's so easy to turn the ball over without getting rep after rep after rep until they learn timing and spacing. Let's take it again, switch, here we go. And that's a point. It's 4-2, switch, offense and defense. Switch, switch, passer and pop out player. Don't start until he dribbles. And there's the turnover again. And so switch offense and defense. You'll see this in your practices where your players are turning the ball over. And this is why this is such a key drill. The communication between the two players. Coming high, knowing when to go backdoor because you've taken your player so high. Let's finish this off. It is still 4-2 for black. And he beat him middle. And he scored 4-3, switch up top. Here we go, 4-3. On the dribble. There you go, 4-4, here we go. This is for the game. The game is to 5. And coaches, what we do once we have a winner, well, we'll wait until we have a winner. Here we go, on the dribble. And there you go, switch, 4-4. So what you're teaching your players to get used to is how to make a pass against pressure in a limited space and how to be able to receive the ball and get powerful against pressure. Here we go, 4-4 for the win. And that's a trip. They got to stop on the wing. They got to stop on the back door. Offense, defense, switch. Here we go at 4-4. Stay towards the middle, Christina. Stay towards the middle. And here we go. And that's a good stop. And so what you develop is players that get used to when can they make the pass, when can't they make it, and being able to be pressured and be able to complete passes. If your players can't make this first pass, it doesn't matter how good your offense is. It doesn't matter what system and strategy you employ. If your players can't make the read of when to make that first entry pass. Let's take a look, 4-4, let's finish it off. On the dribble, here we go. And that's it, 5-4. And what we would do right there is then immediately stop the gym and have the winning team play against another team. Would have 4 players on that side of the court or 4 players down at the far end and would mix it up and have them play again. This short game is a great game to help players develop defensive intensity, to be able to lock down and stop the entry pass and to stop the backdoor. It helps the dribbler be able to control their defender and then beat them to the basket. And it helps the wing player to learn how to pop out and show a target and then make the decision when they're overplayed to go backdoor with lots of space in good timing. That is 2-on-2 entry passing.